Hello and welcome to Flashback Generations.
Hi.
Today, Pete and I are going to travel back in time and visit a golden oldie game. It is the classic game of magical mayhem for 2 to 4 players. It is, of course, Whiz War.
What is it?
Right, well, Whiz War is a seemingly simple game for 2 to 4 players, and it's what it says on the tin. It's wizards having a war with each other, a magical duel, a battle. It takes place in a maze, which is constructed out of these boards. You get one of these boards per player, so 2 players. This is a 2-player game. 4 players would be twice as big. 3 players would be something else. And you are running around a maze trying to steal the other guy's treasure or kill all the other guys, all the other wizards.
What do you get?
So this game comes with quite a lot of cardboard pieces and some plastics and a lot of cards, as you can see here.
Yeah, huge deck of cards which you spells.
What's our bed? Probably about 150 odd cards or so. You get these nice dials that FFG are very common used nowadays. This is an old game, so this.
Well, the design is the design goes back to the 80s, I believe. Some guy somewhere wrote it. Apologies for not knowing his name.
It's probably the seventh edition of this.
Yeah,
now?
And at some point FFG bought up the rights to produce this. But in the terms of FFG's recent history, this is quite an old one. It's about 8 and 9, 10 years old or more. It goes back to the days of Chaos in the Old World, that sort of era. And as such, interesting thing is the rulebook, which is lovely and well illustrated, and it's all cartoony sort of pictures. The rules are in a style; they're not the modern, very rigid, strict,
written
and
by
logical
a programmer.
style.
Yeah.
They're a bit more towards the old fluff style of rulebook, where it just rambles on.
The card is a nice quality. Like that's not just going to break.
Yeah.
They're all double-sided. The artwork on it, I wouldn't say is. I'd say it's great, but it's not.
It's clear. They've got these huge black walls drawn on them. The reason why there's 2 sides is the 2 modes. One side is the classic board game mode from the original game, and the other side is basically an improved, dare I say, or after everybody's played it for 20 years, here's what we think the map should be. So you've got the 2 options. It's all good. FFG cards.
It's good quality.
The miniatures, I should mention, because a lot of people love the miniatures. You get 4 awesome wizards.
They're all nice plastic.
They're kind of slightly smaller scale than Imperial Assault, I'd say. They're pretty well made. They've got these nice little bases which clearly show your wizard's colour. There's a little stand to put stolen treasure counters in. You can only carry 1 at a time. You also get a ton of monsters or monster forms. Things like that's the big man, which is like a big golem style rock dude. There's a werewolf. There's a vampire or something.
No.
Oh no, it's a little ninja hobbit thing.
A gnome.
A gnome, yeah. And there's a slimy blob thing, which is awesome. And they are things you can turn yourself into during the game. You get 1 dice, which is a D4. That's all the dice the game uses. D4 damage here and there.
It's used very, very irregularly.
And you get, in true FFG style, tons and tons of little tiny differently shaped counters to represent bust walls, summoned walls, poison, frozen effects, cobwebs, wound counters, you name it, it's all in there. I don't know what half of this does. We've not needed it yet, but there's mana. Mana is a thing where you can boost spells, so there's mana counters. Goes on and on and on. I've had to get one of these little handy trays to keep it all in. And that's what you get. It's a lot for what the price point was, which I can't remember, but it wasn't huge,
I would have thought for the contents and stuff. If you're getting it under 30, it's an okay deal. But you don't want to be looking at too much more. All right. Well, let's talk about the next section.
How does it work?
Okay, so the basic rules are: you're a wizard. Each wizard has his own sort of board, but the boards connect up, so it's like a Pac-Man maze. You can, in your turn, your basic actions are move, cast spells, which are done via these cards.
Yeah, you can cast 1 action spell a turn, so you can only do 1.
Well, you can use as many cards as you like, but you can only make 1 attack. One card might be shoot a fireball at somebody. That's an attack, so you can only attack once. But there's other things like equip bombs, grenades, summon walls, which are represented by tokens, destroy walls. You can destroy existing walls and crumble a wall to make passages through for you to get through easier. what you're trying to do is either defeat all the other wizards, which is tracked by a familiar sort of FFG dial there. I think you get about 16 life to start with, something like that.
Yeah.
Or grab hold of the other guy's treasure, stick it on your base, and make it back to your base square and drop it there. So you can drop their treasure there. You get some VPs for that, some victory points. Go off and get their second treasure. If you bring that back, you're pretty much going to win. Because the other guy can steal his treasure back. So it's kind of like, hot potato, trying to grab each other's treasure. And in the meantime, you're blasting each other. That is basically it. I think there's 3 phases. There's like a housekeeping, an upkeep stage at the beginning of the turn. Then you can do 3 actions: move, make an attack, and then play magical cards, which can be spells or equipping items or other weird cards as well.
The game is quite card heavy as well.
It is. You've got a big draw pile.
There's a big draw pile. What you'll have, your equipment could be in front of you, and people can actually openly see if you have attack spells or if you have defensive magic at the ready.
Yeah.
So it's quite an open game, but you will always have a secret hand as well that your opponent has to second guess what your turn is going to be.
That's it. Yeah.
So a lot of the times this game will just end with no notice. There's magic doors you jump through, so you jump through that door to be on the other side.
Purple's purple, blue's to blue. Pac-Man doors, basically.
Pac-Man. It's a very simple concept with quite an in-depth overlay and with all the cards and combos that can go into it.
Yeah.
There's.
I don't think it will play. Have we played it 4-player?
We've played 4-player.
Yeah, and it feels a lot different, a lot deeper than 2-player in some ways. In 2 players, because it's quite a narrow space you're in and you're only dealing with one other guy, you tend to flow into, right, we're going to kill each other. In 4 players, there's a bit more tactical possibility around sneaking in while 2 other guys are killing each other and stealing one of their treasures to try and get some VPs that way. Another mechanic in it is the spell deck. This is basically all the cards, but the decks are different schools of magic, like necromancy, pyromancy, things like that. The rulebook gives you various ways of forming that deck, so you build that deck. We're in ultimate spellbook mode where we just throw them all in,
put them all
shuffle them together.
Need them all.
It varies the game. I mean, the starter mission only has 2 of the decks in or something like that, so it's quite a small, there's limited range of actions you can do. But after our second game, I think we just threw all the spells in, let's throw them all in and have a chaotic game.
I think this game is the sort of game that takes about 2 rounds. And then you're fully au fait with the rules. There's no room for complication. Anyway, let's talk about the next section.
Is it any good?
All right. Well, this is it's a simple enough game to be able to bring out and have new players play it. I think one of the constraints with it is it's very strict with the 4 players. I mean, you could have 3 players, but it's a little bit odd.
There's it details what you do. I think you set them up like so, I think, from memory. A couple of weeks since we played it, but
yeah,
they deal with that. 3 players, we've not tried that one, I don't think, but it's worth a try.
2 players.
2 players is very, you feel 2 cats trapped in a bag. I like the feel of that.
It feels very quick though as well. Which I quite like, but at the same time it feels a little bit too quick. It feels a little bit too...
Well, you can have 2 games for the price of 1, can't you?
Yeah, I think in an hour you'd play... an experienced player would... you get through this in 15 minutes.
Yeah, you could do, yeah.
A game.
Yeah.
2
4-player probably, on average, double it,
It's 4-player, I'd say, is an hour.
Yeah.
An hour-long game. If people are... if you're really, really quick at it, it's going to be half an hour. So.
Yeah, it's... but the flow of it's good.
It is.
The mechanics are good. The card mechanics, you can start building your devastating hand, and then somebody else will play something that makes you discard half your hand, and that sort of thing.
If I was going to play Devil's Advocate, what would you say is bad about the game? Like, one thing I think is a little bit boring, or I feel like there isn't enough kind of minions put into it, or there isn't really a build-up you can do in it. There's no kind of currency in the game, but maybe that's to its benefit as well.
Well, that's because it's just a simple wizard duel,
What
it depends what you're looking for, doesn't it?
Okay, another point then. Every wizard is the exact same when they start off, and you're all borrowing the same deck, and I felt a bit like, I would have liked it if every wizard was somewhat balanced but had a different skill.
Yeah.
That...
Again, this is more towards you. Everybody's the same to begin with board game, and you skill yourself up with the look of the draw cards, and away you go. It's not. You know, it's not an Imperial Assault where you build your wizard before you go or anything like
Do you
that.
think there's room for that in the future if they were going to go, right, we want an expansion for this?
There are 2 expansions already.
Well, the expansions only add to the decks and the same sort of thing, really.
There's a 5th player expansion. I don't know the full details, not listening to them. I need to get hold of them. I want to get hold of them. Which tells you everything you need to know about what I think of the game. But yeah, there's a 5th player, yeah. Not sure how it works with the maps. And there's another expansion that introduces more spell cards. Well, they both do that.
It's a huge spell deck already.
I believe, don't quote me, but the other one introduces necromancy, so you might be able to summon skeletons and things.
See, I'm liking that. I'm liking that a lot.
And like beast summoning, I think. So you bring a great bear on to help you out. I think. I really am sort of going by eBay descriptions here. But,
right.
So there's expansions, and I think if you're looking for the next rebellion, this is not it.
No.
Or Chaos in the Old World or Pandemic, this is not it. If you're looking for something that's just a quick, fun knockabout game, it's a good entry drug for muggles, as we call them. The non-hardcore gamers. You get into this, they'll maybe want to try more complicated games. It isn't a complicated game.
No, it's not. No.
It's simple. It's fast. It's a good one to pull out at conventions late at night. I think things like that. People can pick it up quick, but it's not a big hobby game. It's not Kingdom Death.
No, it's not. I don't think it's not the thing that you're going to bring to your club and go, come on guys, we're going to play this over
it's
and
like,
over.
shall I play Final Fantasy Volume 56, or will I have a quick round of Pac-Man? Basically, isn't it?
Yes.
This is the Pac-Man.
It is Pac-Man. It's Pac-Man of the video game world, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, let's leave it there then. Thanks for watching, guys, and if you like the video, let us know what you think, and see you later.
Cheerio.